What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Fireside Chats with Torres. So you guys have probably noticed that I posted two songs by Gojira, and literally, I'm the most impatient person you'll ever meet. That's why I'm a photographer and not a painter. I just can't. I just don't have the patience in me to take longer than say 15 minutes to do something. So what I did was I went ahead and listened to Stranded by Gojira, and I don't know how everyone goes about learning songs. So for me, I try to mentally think of where the song is played. And for the most part, I pick up most songs just by ear. And so I try to mentally try to figure out where are they on the fretboard. Second is, how's the picking? So can I pick the way they do? Like, bro, there's what's that one band? Monument, right? Is that what it's called? Monument? And there's a few bands that I listen to them, and the timing, I just don't understand. What they call that? What is it? Math metal, right? And some of the timing, I'm just like, I don't know when the heck the changes are. They're doing all these odd timing, and I just don't get it, dude. It's just, I never learned how to play like that. I kind of think that genre of music kind of came out predominantly like in the late 90s, early 2000s. And, I wasn't playing guitar around then. I didn't even know I didn't even know what the hell is Gojira? They literally started as a band when I had already stopped playing guitar. So Gojira is new to me. But the picking style is, again, same thing. It's something that I'm not, used to. I can do it, but even that song Stranded, the picking on that thing is kind of a little crazy, and even crazier on Silvera. So the first thing I do is I try to pick. I air pick. I legit air pick. So I air pick just to gauge how's the picking. Can I do it? Do I have the dexterity to continue galloping? Because you can gallop every once in a while, but can you gallop and then play, a different riff and then go back to galloping? And, sometimes the getting back into the galloping or getting out of the galloping and into a different riff, that will try a person. That's just like, this is going to drive me crazy because it's a lot harder than I thought. So both songs, I literally took about 15 minutes trying to find it, trying to figure it out. In both cases, I figured out most of the song, but I knew that there was something that I was missing. So I watched the video of this one guy playing both songs, actually. And it was just a cover of both songs, and I was able to visually see exactly what he was doing. I was like, okay, cool, I got it. And then figured out, how to do it. And but how do you go about it? How do you go about deciding, hey, I'm gonna learn this song? Like, one of my favorite bands is Death, and Chuck was always a talented guitarist, rest in peace. And I'll listen to some of the rhythms that he wrote, and they're just mind-boggling craziness. Last year I learned, what song was it? I forget what song it was. But I ended up getting the tab on Ultimate Guitar using their app, and I started learning one of his leads, and I was just like, even his lead playing was kind of personal. Like, it definitely wasn't in line with any theory. Not that I'm into theory or understand it, but you can hear it. And even when you're playing it, you're like, oh, that's kind of a little weird. And, it took for one of my buddies, James Pettit, to say, some of these guys never took lessons. A lot of that is just what they hear, what they like, and they roll with it. So again, how do you guys go about deciding what song you want to learn how to play? For some reason, and this goes back, dude, to like the late 80s. One of my guitar teachers was Javier Carpio, who was a guitarist in a crossover band called Marauder. And he always said, listen, don't learn how to play another band's song, because then you're going to end up sounding a lot like them. So I took that to heart. I mean, and it's funny. It was so true when one of my boys, literally, not even kidding, bought every tab book for every Metallica album. And I'm going to like 1990. So the last album was And Justice for All. The guy knew every song from Ride the Lightning straight through And Justice for All, knew the leads for every single song. Okay? Like, that's how dedicated this guy was. And of course, when we would go, every once in a while, it would be like me, it would be him, it would be Jonathan Rosado, who is he was my best friend when we were kids. But if you've ever heard of the punk band The Craze, he's the singer of The Craze, but he's the singer and guitarist of The Craze, but he's a ridiculously talented drummer. Like, he is like Jared. The way Jared is an incredible guitarist and drummer, that's Jonathan Rosado, who was also in a hardcore band called Demise. So it would be, even Jesse Galley, who was in a band called Uranium 235, and we would go rent a studio and we would just jam. And everything this guy wrote, like, hey guys, how about this rhythm? It sounded like Metallica, like legit, exactly like a Metallica. It's a James Hetfield riff. It's a Kirk Hammett lead. And it was just like, bro, we can't, what are you doing? So it made sense not to play another band's song. But years later, I realized that a lot of guys have become absolutely incredible musicians by doing just that, by playing, another band's rhythm and then learning how to play their own rhythms and just making things up along with leads. It isn't until now, bro, I'm almost 50. It isn't until now that I get, guys like Dave Sugarman, who's 25, who's toured the planet. And he's like, bro, are you crazy right now? Like, go learn some song. Go learn the lead. Whatever lead you learn, you now have a brand new exercise. And then you can switch it and play around with it and personalize it to yourself. So I completely missed the boat. But again, life. I was into music, went to college. College took over, worked on Wall Street, finance, the world of finance took over, or my career basically went from there. Then I retired, then went to, figured I'd start getting into my photography thing. Then, spent years building and building my photography business to the point where it's standalone. It just goes. And then a few years ago in 2016, I was like, I'm going to start playing guitar, but I have to make sure that this round I become a better guitarist than I was years ago. So I literally, learned 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's because one of my buddies, who was a guitarist of a band called Naked Mary, in Brooklyn, he was just like, what's up, kid? Long time no hear. Bro, we're old now. We're in our 40s. And he's like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's how I learned. And that's how I'm able to play what I do now. And, it's only been 3 years. I'd never played lead before then. Before 2016, never bothered. So it's a new road for me, learning different picking styles, different bands like, Mastodon. Who the hell's that? I didn't know who that was. Monument. Who the hell's Tobin Abasi? Yo, I remember, so just to give you an idea, so I remember someone posting a photo. This was early on when I kind of decided, okay, I'm going to start playing guitar again. I had just gotten a white Gibson Les Paul, and then got a then I got a black Gibson Les Paul, and then I got a Premium Plus Les Paul. So now I have 3 Les Pauls. And there was a photo that someone posted, and they were like, try to name everyone in this image. And I'm like, Yngwie Malmsteen, Joe Satriani, Steve Vai. I literally name every single one, and I'm like, yo, who's this black dude? I'm like, I have no idea who the hell that is. But he's got to be somebody, because he's literally in the presence of all of these living legends. And that's how I came across knowing who Tobin Abasi was. And then, of course, everything that came from there, with Animals as Leaders. And yo, I literally lived in a cocoon for years, and then came out and was like, yo, what the hell is all this? Yo, what do you mean that there are drum programs? You mean there's no such thing as a drum machine anymore? Yo, if some of you guys are as old as I am, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Who made one of the there was a bunch of drum machines back in the late 80s and early 90s, and literally like with these little pads, and you just program it, and you have to enter it yourself. So how do you guys go about picking a song that you want? Do you do what I do, which is air pick just to see if you can play it, along with do you think of the timing? Like, yo, do you take up the challenge? Maybe that's it. Do you take the challenge when you hear something and you're like, I don't know what they're doing? I'm used to fourths, and these guys are playing 5/8. I don't know if that even makes sense, but you get the gist. Like, all of a sudden I'm just like, yo, none of this makes sense. I don't know when to change. When are they changing? They're making it up as they go along. And apparently these two guitarists are mentally plugged in together that they know exactly when the change is. And, but yeah, so it's just, it's definitely a little crazy. And it's, it definitely tests a man's will. I'll be honest. I sit back, and even listening to these Gojira songs, I'm like, bro, that sounds crazy. I don't know what the hell they're doing. I can't pick it up. So then I'm just like, maybe I can. They're not going fast or anything. It doesn't sound too crazy. It doesn't sound too technical. And lo and behold, literally 15 minutes before my first video, 15 minutes before my second video, I was like, okay, all right. So now I have my my self-esteem is starting to rise slowly but surely. All right, guys. Hey, listen, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, hit right here. If you like the video or like any of my videos, like right here. Thank you so much again for watching. You guys are the best. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, I was just like, yo, this is absolutely insane. And I hope I make you guys laugh. And to me, that's everything. Like, bro, I'm you. Like I say, I'm no one special. I work. I have a mortgage. I have a car payment. I have a few guitars. I try to practice. And I have a cute little pug. And the rest is just, bro, we just live our lives. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, guys. Hey, listen, again, thank you so much for watching. Have an absolutely amazing week. And as usual, I will talk to you guys soon.